Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Wow, so many. Over 150. Good to see everybody. So, my name is Ola Rimstedt. I'm playing bridge professionally, full time with my twin brother. Maybe some of you have heard of the Rimstedt family, and I'm one of them. So, I'm playing bridge professionally with my twin brother. I have a couple of deals that I have prepared for you today. Let's start and see how it goes. Set to 10, 11 points. So that's not enough to beat a game unless there's an exceptional unbalanced hand. Anyway, continuing, West is strong, but not quite strong to show, just to show like a strong with a double and bidding a new suit. So let's start with a 2-diamond overcall. North has hard support. North is still going to assume that we have a normal opening on the south hand. So whatever agreement you have here to show a 4-card race, probably all of you play not exactly the same, but maybe sort of the same. The normal treatment to do is to maybe bid two no trump to show some sort of a 4-card race. If it's invitational, some of you play it as a game forcing or invitational plus or limit plus. For obvious reasons, when you're a passed hand, you can't have enough points to game force. So let's assume that this 2-no trump still shows a 4-card race, but it's in the invitational area. Now East's got 4-card support and an unbalanced hand. So one thing you can do is to jump to 4 diamonds and make life harder for your opponents. But what I like to do in this situation is to, at the same time as I'm showing my diamond support, maybe it will be also just as interesting for my partner to know where my honors are located. Like imagining if opponents are ending up in a hard contract and partner is on lead. You would like a club lead, right? You wouldn't like a diamond lead. So normal thing here that is quite a usual treatment is if you jump to a new suit when partner made an overcall of a suit, that would show natural suit and also support of the partner's overcalling suit. So here when East jumps to 4 clubs, that would show diamond support and clubs on the side. I think it's very important to make this bid in case the opponents end up in a hard contract, or if partner maybe is strong enough or maybe interested in doing a save in 5 diamonds. So I think 4 diamonds is okay, but 4 clubs is the better bid. South has nothing else to contribute with. Already made a weakish 3rd hand opener, so pass. Good question. Does 4 club show also that you have 4-card support? Yes, it does. I used to make these kinds of bids only with a 3-card support, but the problem is that partner want to make the right decisions over, let's say the opponent would be a 4 hearts. It's much easier for partner to make a decision if you show the amount of trumps that you have. So always when you make a fit showing bid like this, you must have 4 trumps. It's very important. 6 3s are not enough. It's got to be at least 5 4s. What's quite interesting here in this situation when you're looking at the West hand is the opponents open a heart and also the partner of the opener showed a 4-card race, and you yourself has queen 4 for hearts. So you expect partner to be a void. It would be quite, in 95 or 99% of the times that's going to be the case. But this time South was a bit tricky, opening a heart on only a 4-card suit. So in this situation, West was a little bit fooled. But still, West will never be able to know this. West is just assuming that the opponents are bidding honestly and also making the decision out of that. So in this case, looking at the West hand, kind of knowing or thinking that partner is avoiding hearts, you have a really good hand. The bad thing is obviously that partner jumped to 4 clubs. and you just have a stiff face. So you can't really help so much in that. It's looking like you have 2 spade losers. But 2 spade losers, that's all you have, because partner's avoiding hearts. So you're probably going to lose to ace and king of spades, and that's it. So should be enough for 5 diamonds. That will probably from here end the auction. Okay, North is on lead. Always when you have ace king of the suit, you lead that. Some of you will lead a king, some of you will lead ace, depending on your agreements. But let's say you lead ace from ace king. Following suit, and now it's a very important carding situation for South. Some of you played at lowest encouraging, some of you played at highest encouraging, but let's assume that we play low encouraging, reversed carding. So in this situation, it would seem sort of natural to make an encouraging signal with the deuce of spades, because you have the queen and you're looking at jack, third, and dummy. So imagine partner leads the ace showing the king. You can lead ace and king and the low and another to the queen. But there is a big danger about that, and that is also illustrated on this board. Let's say you would make that sort of defense, playing spade, spade, spade. That third round of spade is going to get roughed on west, and then we'll be able to draw trumps and discard all these 4 hearts on the clubs. But how will we be able to solve this? The key carding here is in trick 1. You should not signal with the deuce of spades, even if you have the queen. So you have to signal that you don't like the spade lead, but that is because you have the ace of hearts. If you would not have the ace of hearts, then you would make an encouraging signal of spades. But if you do have now when you do have the ace of hearts that you know is that you are quite sure is cashing, you need partner to shift to a heart at some point just to get that trick before it disappears, which would actually be the case in this situation. So all about the defense here would be, how do you signal in spades? And depending on the signal that you give on South's hand, that is the defense North is going to play. You might even make an encouraging signal with 2 small spades. How can North know what signal you're making? So North is going to trust your signal and play the defense out of that. If you manage to beat 5 diamonds on this board, then you made a good defense on North-South. But I thought it was an interesting board on both on the bidding, like how to think in all seats, and also the defensive problem here and trick 1. Everything is going to depend on trick 1. Not everybody ended up in 5 diamonds. It's not that clear to end up in 5 diamonds, but I thought it was a cute board. If anybody has any questions about anything that I'm saying, which maybe there are some unnatural things, both in the bidding and and also in the carding, just ask any questions about anything. If not, then I'm moving on to the second board. So there are a few things that I was thinking of here. Let's start with the bidding. East is the dealer. I have not looked so much on what most tables did here, but I think there are a few options in what you can open. The normal opening would be a diamond. No questions about that. You have a good diamonds, good spades, 14 count. Nothing wrong about that. That's the normal. That's the normal opening. But one opening that you can also make, which I might do depending on my mood. I don't think it's the wrong bid, but maybe not the one that most would use, and that would be 1 trump, showing 15 to 17. You do only have 14, but you have a very good 14. Although the two doubletons that you have, they are 2 small doubletons. Usually when you do it on 2 doubletons, you will like some sort of honor card in the short suits. That's partly true. It makes it look much more like a no trumpy hand. But let's say we would move around the cards a little bit. Let's say we will move the spades and the hearts. then it would be much more attractive to open this hand one or trump, because then you don't have to worry about how to come back in the bidding. Let's say it goes a diamond, you open a diamond, your partner responds to spade, and you have this hand, but the hearts and the spades are switched. And you can't really say to hearts because you don't have the strength to make a reverse. Here it's another thing when you have 4 spades, then it's much more attractive to open a diamond. You don't have a rebid problem. So I think a diamond is the correct opener. But I wouldn't say anything if anybody opened a no trump. I think that's perfectly fine. South is overcalling the longest suit. It's got an opening hand. West can't really do anything. Got the other 2 suits, but too weak to make an auction, so pass. North, it's got 10 points, and maybe there's a game, maybe there's not. But at least we would like to make some sort of try. Give partner a helping hand if there's anything, if there might be a game or not. So the bid to make a show that you have a good hand, and probably no 5-card major. If you do have a 5-card major, you probably should bid that to 2 hearts with spades. But if you have a good hand without that, you start with 2 diamonds, the opponent's suit. East is not gonna bid freely 2 spades as a reverse bid. You don't have the points for that, so pass. South continues to describe the hand. There's no rush to jump anything. You bid slowly. You're never gonna get passed out in 2 hearts because 2 diamonds showed a good hand, and there will be another bid. The West is just what, but you continue to describe your hand on the South hand. West continues to pass, and North now has, I think, 2 options. Either you may, actually, I think just the 1 option. I was thinking on 2 no trump for 1 second, but you can't really do that because you have 3 little diamonds. So you already showed a good hand. Now you can go back to where you may stop, depending on how strong partner is. Now when North decides to bid 3 clubs, you showed a good hand with 2 diamonds, but then you go back to 3 clubs. So you explain to partner, I had a good hand, about 10 plus points and club support. But now when you bid 3 clubs, which is a non-forcing bid, then you're about limiting yourself to, let's say, 10, 11, maybe 9, 11 points. So partner might pass this, or partner may continue if there is some extra strength for the 2 club overcall. We will find out here. This is just borderline, I think. You do have a pretty good hand because the points are sort of all in your suits, and you do have a void. It's a little bit strange here that nobody bids spades and you have a void. But it does sound like partner did bid 2 diamonds, showing a good hand. Maybe there is 4 spades also in partner's hand, but not 4 hearts. If there was 4 hearts, partner would obviously raise you. So let's assume partner got 10, 11 points here, the North hand. So in the South hand, is it enough for a game or not? I do think it's enough for a game. Firstly of all, because you have 6 clubs, you only promised 5 initially. The King of Diamonds is after the opener, which is probably good because then it means that the ace is onside. The hearts, you don't really know much about the hearts. It depends on what the partner has. And spades, you don't really know anything about that also. But I think this is enough to say that we should probably continue towards the game. Should we bid 3 no trump, or should we bid something else? Because you do have a diamond stopper. But I don't think you can really bid 3 no trump, because still you have no idea about the spades. So what I do like to say that you should do here is to shape out. You should bid out the shape so partner can make a good decision from that. So here I think you should bid 3 diamonds. So you showed clubs and hearts, and also you have diamonds, sort of diamonds on the side. You're describing your shape, so partner knows that you have a shortish in spades. So can partner make a decision from that? What should North do here? Can't really bid free no trump because North doesn't know anything about the diamond, if there's a diamond stopper or not. So here North should bid. Let's say it doesn't ask for a diamond stopper is a question I'm being asked. It could do if it, but does it do that single? Does it ask for a diamond stopper single-handedly? Not really, because you need to use the space wisely here. Like, even if you do have a diamond stopper, how can you know about the spades? Spades is also a suit out there, which you don't know anything about. So it's much more important that you shape out when you're being given all this space. If you, let's say, would switch that diamonds were with spades, so you would have a diamond void, then you would have been three spades. So you really do bid all the suits, even if diamonds is bid by the opponent. Here, partner should assume that you're shaping out. It's very important so you end up in the right strain, in no trump or clubs. You're still having so much space with three diamonds here. What should North do in this situation? I do think you should continue to show what has not been shown yet, which is maybe a heart honor. Why not? And maybe that could be interesting in case you would end up in a hard contract on only 4-3. Who knows? It's about to become a very long bidding and very quite complicated back and forth. But we'll see where we end up. It doesn't really feel like anybody wants to bid 3-0 in this situation. Maybe you shouldn't be in 3-0. Maybe you should. I do think in this situation, when you shaped out and you do have a diamond stopper, now you can bid 3-0 trump on South. So you shaped out. Partner knows you're short in spades. It could be a singleton, but you can't really figure that out. But now you are shaped out, and now when you bid 3-0, you do have the diamond stopper. Would you have the same hand without the diamond stopper? You could have made a little bid in between with 3 spades and asking partner for a last advice. It was a very long auction, but it was much about this communication between where are we ending up? Are we going to end up in a club contract or a 3-0 contract? Who knows? A question. Could North bid 2 spades instead of 3 clubs, as you've already denied 5 spades with 2 diamonds? I think you could do that, yes. I quite honestly did not really think of it as much, but yes, I think it's quite a reasonable bid. That after my 2 hearts here, you could actually bid 2 spades on North, because if you do have 5 spades, you would bid it initially. So maybe the better bid on North here would be 2 spades. Exactly as Susan is saying here in the chat also. And a follow-up question would be, what should South bid over 2 spades then? South probably could just jump to 3-0 trump, I believe, because you do have described the clubs and hearts, and now you have a diamond stopper. So now you can just end up in 3-0 trump. Probably that's the right strain. So that's another way to end up in 3-0. Probably even better. I didn't think of it as much, I must admit, but probably that's a better bid. We can go back to it and make it how it should be done. So probably here 2 spades is the better bid. If this would be the case, still it would be 3-0 from South. 4 hearts is quite hard. It's quite hard to beat. Is being said here. That's true. 4 hearts is coming in pretty nicely because of the 10 of hearts dropping and the king being onside. But that's easy to say afterwards when you see all the 52 cards. About this hand, there is a few dangers. Let's say you're leading against 3-0 trump. 1 second, there is a question here. But you still promise clubs with 2 spades. I don't think you promise clubs with 2 spades. but partners should know that there must be a reason for you bidding 2 diamonds. And if the reason is only that you have 4 spades, it's not the only reason. Because you should, where are your cards located? You didn't have heart support. You only have 4 spades. Probably there should be some sort of clubs in your hand. At least you should assume so. But you don't in theory you don't promise it, but you kind of can figure out that there are some clubs partner has with bid after the 2 diamond bid. When you bid 2 spades here. Let's say against 3-0 you start with a jack, king, ace, and you have to make a discard. We have to assume that the ace of diamonds is onside. What's quite interesting after this start is if East would have not the ace of spades, let's say the ace of spades will be with West, then East should probably continue a spade and set up the spade suit. But here, you don't want to play the ace of spades because you want to save it for the queen of spades in dummy. So probably maybe you should shift to a diamond and hope that you can establish the diamond suit instead. When you do this, let's say you shift to the queen of diamonds. Now already you've been promising a lot of points. You promised ace, king of spades and ace, queen, jack of diamonds. That's 14 already. There's many things here that already says that East does not have the king of hearts. If East would have the king of hearts, probably East could maybe make a call over 2 diamonds, or maybe opening 1 of trump, because that would be 17 points. I don't know. It does sound like the king of hearts is onside, and it sort of sounds like that would be your last chance to make this contract. After cashing 6 clubs, the king of diamonds, and then your ace of hearts for 8 tricks. So your 9th trick would probably come with the queen of hearts. It's not 100%, but it does sound like it a little bit. Probably you would also feel it if East passes in tempo, or if East would think for a little bit, and maybe they would be making a couple of discards when you cash all the clubs. Maybe the discards will be telling of where the king of hearts is. Who knows? Probably you will get enough information that you can try the heartness for your 9th trick. But enough about that board, I think, unless there are anybody who has any more thoughts about this. You already helped me a little bit with the bidding, very, very nicely, figuring out about this 2-spade bid. The only way to win 3-0 trump. Okay, jumping over to board 3. I will need probably a little bit of help of what you guys think about this. I don't think it's perfectly clear of where we will end up in the bidding. But let's see where we start. So south is the dealer. First hand, green versus red. The first question is, what do we think about opening weak 2s? Got a question from the previous board if we should play 5 clubs or not. We probably could have done it, but we wouldn't have enough tricks to make it. We could, if the hearts come in, which is not clear and anti-percentage. Let's continue here on the board 3, on the new board. So the first question here on south, when your first chair. Is this enough to open a weak 2 or not? Sometimes nobody would ever open weak 2s on only 5-card suits. I think, it's fine. If you have that partnership agreement, that's perfectly fine. But if you do have a partnership agreement that you can open weak 2s on a 5-card suit, maybe this is enough, maybe it isn't. Here, the hearts are weak. You have 5 clubs on the side. There are many things that say that probably this is not the best hand to do it, the best idea. There are many things that probably could really get you to the wrong strain. So I would advocate for pass here on south, but I don't mind if anybody opens 2 hearts. Maybe you have some agreement that it shows hearts and another suit in the weekend. Same goes for west, but west is really much weaker, and also red versus green. Pass. Opening hand North. This is a little bit hand evaluation. A normal opening here would be a diamond because you have very nice diamonds and you have a 5-4-2-2 shape, which is not a balanced hand. A balanced hand doesn't consist of two doubletons. But here I would make an exception for that. And also one thing that I think make this definitely worth 15 points is that I have ace, ace, king, king, and I have a very good 5-card suit. If you combine these two, that makes it worth at least 15 points. I think if you would put this into a statistic thing that would count how much this is worth, it's probably 15.5. So don't always count the points. Look at the whole picture of the hand. And the good thing about here is where are your points located? What kind of points do you have? You have ace, ace, king, king. That's the strongest you can have as a 14 count. So this is definitely worth 1 or trump. If you can open 1 or trump, do it more often than not. It doesn't have to be perfectly balanced. I mean, obviously, I'm not advocating for doing it with singletons, but with 2 doubletons, be my guest. There are no wrong things to do that, opening a no trump on 2 doubletons. So this is where I figured it would become a little bit tricky. What should East do in this situation? You have a pretty strong hand, but they're really lousy diamond suit. Do you want to get involved or not? Like, the only bid that I can think of that you can make is 3 diamonds. If you want to make a bid, that is. Maybe you don't feel like this is a descriptive bid of your hand, bidding 3 diamonds in this situation. Maybe you just want to pass and hope that maybe you would have a chance to overcall diamonds later on. Who knows? I do think it's a little bit too strong to pass it. The negative thing about bidding 3 diamonds also is that you have 2 3-card suits and there are majors. If partner's got a 5-card major, you definitely want to play a major suit contract. If you play 2 diamonds overcall as natural, then for sure you should bid that, yes. It's maybe there are some of you who still do that. It's not as natural to play. It's not as common to play it nowadays. 2 diamonds natural, but if you do it, absolutely you have to get involved. This hand is too strong to not use it if you can use it. If I would give him this hand at the table, I would probably bid 3 diamonds because I think winning bridge is bidding more than not. So I think I would like to make 3 diamonds. It could really be a disaster, but it could also be a big winner. Let's say South would like to make a transfer, which South would like in this situation. It wouldn't really be a good thing because there are no hard support in North. But next time South couldn't make a transfer and North have a big hard fit, but they can't find it anymore because they have to start on the free level. And if you do start on the free level, you're in a game force. So 3 diamonds, it's a bit tricky. Let's see. We have some question. What if your P thinks that vulnerable you have better honors? That could absolutely be the case, but also that would also mean the opponents are taking over the contract, which is not absolutely clear. You have a pretty strong 13 count, and here is on the North it's 15-17. So if South got it, then maybe partner will be in lead. But if partner is going to be in lead, that means that they're ending up in a suit contract with a weak hand as a declarer. But normally the 1 or trump opener would end up as a declarer, and then I'm on lead. So if let's say I would lead a diamond, and maybe in first trick, it would be quite obvious how the diamond suit is looking like. If North opens 1 diamond, what can North do? What can East do? Nothing really. You just have to pass. I mean, unfortunate that North took your suit. You can't really make a bid anymore. The only thing you have is diamonds. How tempted are you over 2 hearts weak with hearts and a minor? I would, if I did have that possibly to open 2 hearts showing weak with hearts and a minor, I would absolutely do it. Yes. In this situation, let's continue where we are. Over 3 diamonds, south. Would you like to get involved? If you bid 3 hearts, you bid a new suit on the 3 level, you're in a game force. I don't think that's strong enough. I think I would pass. It could strike gold, of course, to bid 3 hearts and you find a heart fit. But also remember, they overcalled 3 diamonds. That also tells you that the suits aren't splitting evenly. It's very important to remember if the opponents are preempting, the suits aren't splitting evenly, so don't bid as aggressive as you normally would. Okay. So the question is, in theory, let's say South would open 2 hearts a week with hearts in a minor and go past 4 hearts by North. That is the question. What would I do on East? I would not overcall 5 diamonds. I would pass. A bit unfortunate, of course, but yes, I would pass. Just to answer that question. So what happens here over 3 diamonds? You pass, and the North a bit surprised that East overcalled 3 diamonds red, and you have Ace King 10 fifth, but okay, pass. It's not going to be a pretty contract because of the diamond split, and also you do miss the spade, that you have spades together, but nothing to do about that. But also because how that happened is also because North opened 1-0 trump. 1-0 trump is not only very descriptive if you're going to find a good contract. It's also, in this situation, as you can see on this hand, it's a little bit preemptive. Like, you don't have a good way to show natural diamonds. You don't have a good way to bid natural suits, like with weak hands on West. Let's say North would only open 1 diamond. Maybe it would be much easier for West to get involved with the spades. And East can support spades and probably bid gaming spades. I'm not saying you make a gaming spades, because on this hand the suits are splitting very badly. But let's say on a normal day when the suits are splitting more evenly, then maybe East-West would make 4 spades. But now they're in a shabby 3 diamond contract. Maybe going off, maybe making. So don't underestimate the preemptive upsides of opening 1-0 trump. So I would like to say opening 1 trump more often than you probably would like to. That's what I was thinking of this board 3. There was not much in the play that I was thinking about. I think it's going to be a bit too complicated with these strange splits. So I will jump right into board 4, unless there are anything else. So my first thinking here is, should we open West or not? West is the dealer. Everybody is vulnerable. I don't know. Normally, I'm not a big guy for opening 11 counts, and especially if 11 count consists of a Jack Doubleton. And if you will look at the upsides, you have both majors. You have the 10 of diamonds. You have 2 9s in the majors. So there are some upsides here. You should really not underestimate the pips, the 10s and the 9s. They're very strong. The question in the chat is, does it change if you play transfer responses? I don't think anything changes if you're playing transfer responses or not. I think everything is just the same. But what I was thinking about this board was that maybe you should open on West, and I don't know exactly why I would choose this board, because I would like to show it when West is opening. So let's say we open this West hand. I'm not perfectly proud of it, but it's gonna be much more visible of how this hand is gonna turn out if I open a diamond, of what I'm thinking here. So let's say West open diamond. It's not the end of the world. You do have 11 balanced in red. It's not perfect. You don't like to do it, but sometimes it works. It could strike gold. Maybe you steal the contract, which is a little bit what I like to discuss here on the East hand. I think maybe most of you would think, oh, maybe I should pass. We only have 1 point. We don't want to get too high. I normally would do that, yes, if I was balanced. But when I'm unbalanced on East, as in this situation, I don't think there's a big downside in trying to bid a little bit aggressively on the one level. When I say aggressively, meaning I respond very lightly. I would much more like to do it if I was in green vulnerability, but even in red, they might take over the contract, then it's not the end of the world. If they don't take over the contract, maybe we're stealing the contract. So here, I think bidding a heart is the right call because you're unbalanced. Normally, you don't get too high. You only get too high if West has a very, very strong hand, which is not normally the case. I think much more often you're going to be able to steal the contract. Or maybe you're going to bring a picture of the board, which they won't be prepared for it. You respond very lightly. Maybe there is something there, but from start to finish, there's nothing. South's got an opening hand with the other suits. Take a double. West is got 4-card support. We support to 2 hearts. North's got an opening hand himself, and also one of the unbid suits that South showed, which was spades. So probably it sounds like we're gonna give bid game in spades. Normally, it's not a great idea to jump with only 4-card suits, but here South definitely showed 4 spades, so now we can jump to 4 spades. You don't have to be afraid of being on a 4-3 or anything like that. Okay, so pass. So here I was thinking of a little bit of something that I just read in Sia's new book. I don't think it's been released everywhere yet, but something that I really liked to read when I read his book was, on a board like this, let's say you have East hand here, and you're gonna make your opening lead. It looks like there's nothing really to think about. You have nothing. How can you know what's right? How can you know what's wrong? My thinking here is, should we lead aggressively or passively? Try to envision the hands. Like, where are all the spades? How are the spades located? North didn't have a hand. Does sound like North's got a pretty strong hand because North jumped the game. But also jumped the game in spades and didn't overcall 1 spade over 1 diamond. It does sound like there are only 4 spades here. South didn't overcall spades, made a takeout double. There's also just 4 spades here with South. It does very much sound like the spades are located exactly like this. 4, 4, 4, 1. So what can we do with this information? Maybe we would like to, score some tricks because partner got this trump length, and we'll try to shorten them in trumps. So don't lead diamond here because that's the opening suit of partner, the partner's opening suit. Probably the best lead here would be to lead a heart and try to shorten the opponents. Just continue playing hard as much as you can. Who knows? Maybe it's gonna be enough. Maybe it's not. But here West is also knows exactly what's going on. Let's set up the heart suit and hope that the ace 9 8 4 of spades is going to be enough to maybe beat the contract. In this situation or on this board in total, I don't think it's going to be enough to beat the contract. But it doesn't hurt to try. What I really would like, the key message here was what I would like to say is, before you make an opening lead, try to envision the hands of your opponents. And here there's so much information that the opponents are definitely on a 4-4 spade fit. Use that information to your advantage and make a plan out of it. What is the best way to beat the contract? I am usually quite fast when I make an opening lead, and probably I'm gonna change that a little bit and try to envision the hands a little bit more. And that's thanks to reading Sia's new book. I can definitely recommend that. No matter how this hand is going to be played, you're still going to be able to draw the spade trumps and cash all the clubs when they're coming in, since the jack of clubs is going to drop. So on this particular hand, it's not going to make a difference that you let a heart and try to shorten the opponents. But at least you also want to try, and maybe it's going to strike gold next time. You never know. I did not have much more to say about this. The new book is this one. It's called A Love Story by Sia. Bridge a Love Story. I'm not exactly sure if it's out yet. I think he just had a book signing in London, but I'm not sure. It's a very good one. I got a signed copy. Anyway, let's continue to board 5. I haven't read a full book yet, but so far the first half was amazing. All right, enough about his book. This was one of my favorites, actually, this board, for a couple of reasons. So this board is a lot about hand evaluation, and hand evaluation comes from how we are gonna get to the best contract. I did look a little bit of the results on this board from most tables, and it was not so easy to get to the best contract, which is 6 diamonds. I mean, how are we going to get there? We have 19 balanced to almost 9 balanced. The first thing here is the opening bid. It's only 19 points, but this is a very strong 19 points because it consists of no jacks. No, the jacks is really not a great thing when you have the points. If you have a hand with no jacks, probably in most cases it's worth an upgrade. I think definitely this one is one of them. So I would open this with Tuno Trump to show maybe 2021, if that's your agreement. Anything to show 2021 balanced. I think North here is worth it because of the lack of jacks. East passes and South, you have 9 points, but let's try to find a spade suit. So we bid 3 clubs, regular Stamen, 3 hearts. It's got hearts. And now the question is South hand strong enough to make a move towards slam or not? I think it's borderline. If you would find spade support, then you could at least make a try and see if partner has a maximum or not and can accept the try. Here, you don't know if partner's got diamond support or not. But if partner got diamond support, then maybe that's enough for the slam. The very strong thing about South's hand is the key cards. You only have 9 points, but they are all consisting of key cards. That's why jacks aren't so good, because they are never, very rarely they are used. They could be very good, but key cards is what you're looking for when you're going towards a slam. Aces and kings, and maybe the queen of trumps. I do think that this, because also the 10-9-8 of spades, is worth a move towards slam, even if it's only 9 points. But if you do find partner with trump support, then I think this is going to be very close to getting to slam. So I would like to bid 4 diamonds here. If partner doesn't have any support, partner is probably just going to try to stop in 4 on trump. Like, I don't have support for diamonds, I don't have spades, we don't belong anywhere except for game. And that's fine. You end up in 4 no trump and have to take 10 tricks instead of 9 tricks in 3 no trump. But at least now when you build 4 diamonds and you find partner with a diamond support, then maybe that's going to be enough to bid a slam. Remember here on North, we opened 2 no trump and we upgraded this to this 19 count. So in theory we are a minimum, right? But this hand becomes even stronger now when partner shows diamonds. Don't forget to always be prepared to evaluate the hand depending on how the bidding proceeds. Always natural is the question. How do you cube it? You'd never cube it unless you found a trump. That's a very good rule. You can only make cubits if you found a suit together. So everything is natural until you agreed on a trump suit. Say you agreed hearts. Yes, If you agreed hearts, then it would be a cubed, but you haven't agreed hearts yet. I'm not gonna go through how to agree hearts here. The real bid to agree hearts is 3 spades by south, but I'm not gonna go through that. That's that's a longer discussion and another one. So both 4 clubs and 4 diamonds would be natural, and this situation 4 diamonds is natural. I think north here is worth the move towards slam. I don't know exactly. I think everybody has a different agreements of how to end up in, how to accept the diamonds or not, like how to make like a good race. But let's say I think we should end up in 6 diamonds by north. I think that's probably in the long run it's going to be the best contract. Maybe it makes, maybe it doesn't. I don't know exactly how north should respond over 4 diamonds. Everybody has different agreements how to do it. As we probably all can see, a heart lead would beat it in the first 2 tricks. But how can West ever know to lead a heart with queen third? And the heart is also shown in the bidding by north. So it's not very attractive to lead a heart on this auction, I believe. So let's say West leads something else, maybe spades. No, that's what South showed. So it comes back to a stiff jack of trump or jack 10 fifth of clubs. Maybe the jack fifth of clubs, it's the unbid suit. So I would lead a jack of clubs if I would have to choose something. It's not always a clear make of this contract, but it's a very good contract. If the diamonds are just coming in 2-2, then you're just making this. If the diamonds come in 3-1, as they do this time, you have some work to do. Because you do, before you draw the trumps, you have to rough the spades on the short hand. And the risk of doing that is that you're going to get over-roughed, as in this situation. But if there's another backup plan on top of that, and that is to play 3 rounds of clubs, pitching a heart on south, and then you can play a heart up towards the king. If the ace would be onside, then the hand is done. Then you got your 12th trick. You can discard a spade. You only have to rough 1 spade. So if they don't lead a heart and you don't lose the first 2 hearts, then I think this is up to a 70-80% slam, as long as the diamonds come in. So we have East must double 3 hearts and then 6 diamonds goes down. If you would double 3 hearts, that's a bit too risky because that's what was responded on the free club statement. So obviously you can't double 3 hearts. You have no idea. Maybe they have hearts together. They're just gonna redouble you. So it's a tricky contract to play because of how the cards slide on this particular board. But if you just look on the north and south hand, this is a very good contract of 6 diamonds. So if you do found 6 diamonds here, that's very nicely. But also, I think the only key to find 6 diamonds on this board is to open 2-no trump on north. This hand, I think it's definitely worth an upgrade. Remember, jacks are not very valuable. The valuable thing is the aces and kings, and sometimes queens. If the queen is valuable if it's connected to an ace or a king. Let's say if we have one more board that we can go. I think we have time for one more board. What do you think? Should we continue with one more? Okay. Okay, let's do this. I did make a couple of notes to see which one I liked the most, and I think this one was pretty funny too. There were something that I just found so spectacular about this, and there was also a little bit of the thinking of see when you plan your choice of lead. But let's start from the beginning. South. The south starts pass. West pass. North has got, how many points is it? It's 19. It's 19 this time. Last board we opened Tuner Trump on a 19, but that was an upgrade. This is not an upgrade. I will have a look on that later, Fatima. So North is going to open one club. This is not worth an upgrade to 2021. This is a pretty slow 19 count with an empty Jack 4th, Ace King Queen tight, and Ace Queen tight. It's not a good one. So one club. East is gonna make an overcall of something that shows the majors, I believe. How about 2 clubs? Maybe 2 clubs to show the majors. Whatever agreement you have, some would bid something else to show the majors, but important to show both majors here. South passes, and West makes a preference bid of 2 hearts. North's got a pretty good hand, but it doesn't really sound like you have anywhere to go. Are you gonna make a bid or not on this one? I would not. Maybe some of you would be triggered to bid Tuner Trump on this, but I would not. I wouldn't do it. I don't think it's a good idea to bid Tuner Trump on this. If South can't make a call over 2 clubs, I mean, sometimes you can't do it on an 8 or a 9 count, but it does sound like maybe you don't belong anywhere on this board when you have so many of your points in the majors, and East here show the majors. So I think you should pass this. It does maybe come a little bit unnatural to do it, but I think it's the right call. Although East doesn't have to be this strong to bid 2 clubs, which means that West doesn't have to be this weak to just make a preference. West could still have a couple of points, and also I do think that East got some extras. Maybe should look for a game. I do think East got some extras to look for a game here. So the question is, what should we bid on East? We already showed 5-5 in the majors, and we would like to make another try. I think I would like to make another try with Tuner Trump. And why do I choose Tuner Trump? Why can't I make an invitational try with 3 hearts? Remember, 2 hearts here is only a preference bid. It's not a bid where you show Trump support. If I would bid 3 hearts on East, that would show a 6th heart. If I only have 5-5, which I showed with my initial bid 2 clubs, then I can't rebid one of my suits without extra length. So here I'm making a game try with only 5-5, and partners got that information also. Very important to differentiate between preferences and real Trump support. West doesn't have any significant extras here. It's very, very, very boring, very slow hand. So just gonna bid 3 hearts and hope to end the auction. East has to accept his fate and pass. We tried for a game, but we have to stop in 3 hearts. This is also a thing that I was thinking of when I was speaking about before. Is pass an option for you on East instead of Tuner Trump? It's an option, yes. If maybe, but I do think when I make these 5-5 bets, I think you can be much weaker when you do it in green vulnerability. You can have the same hand with, let's say, without the Ace of Clubs or without the Ace of Hearts. And now when you do have that extra ace, then you require so little from partner to make a game. And you already have enough information on the opponents only opening with 1 club. Then maybe there are finesses that's going to work. Let's say with a King of Diamonds or with a Trump finesse, because you're finessing over the opening hand. It could, maybe it's not enough, but I would like to give it another try. So let's go back to here where I was talking a little bit before about choice of opening lead. Try to envision the hands a little bit. I got 19 points with North, and East is making game tries with only 5-5. If East was making game try with, let's say, a 6-5, show some extra shape, then maybe it doesn't require so many high card points. But now when you showed 5-5 and you say that you don't have any extra length, means that there must be some extra high card points. So very likely here, North and East got most of the high card points. I was thinking a little bit. It looks very natural to maybe just lead the ace of spades and then see the dummy, and then maybe we're gonna beat it from there. A question is what happens if South bids 3 clubs after 2 clubs by East? You could bid 3 clubs, yes, but I would like to have a little bit more than just Queen fifth. Maybe there should be something else. If you bid 3 clubs, then North is never gonna stop with his 19 count, and you don't want to go anywhere. Anyway, let's go back to the opening lead problem. If I would give in this a little thought at the table and probably may try to do the right thing, I think the right lead here is a low heart. It looks very unnatural to make a lead of a low heart in this situation, but why am I doing this? West here showed real heart support by bidding 2 hearts and then converting back 2-no trump to 3 hearts in the bidding, remember. We have ace king queen of spades. We would like to score ace king queen of spades. If we lead ace or king and queen of spades, we're just gonna set up a tempo for the declarer to rough the spades on the short hand. This is very much what it sounds like, how it's looking. Only 3 hearts and maybe 1 or 2 spades. You want to prevent them from roughing the spades in the short hand. So why would I lead a low heart and not the queen or the jack? Remember about the bidding. East showed a strong hand. East is so much favorite to have ace and king of hearts. And also East want to make roughs in the short hand. If you make the risk of playing the 10 of hearts and lose it to the queen or the jack, South is just going to continue another trump, and then you have no trumps left to rough the spades. I don't think the declarer will ever dare to make a deep heart finesse. Therefore, that's the reason why I'm leading a low trump here. Because I'm already, before I make my opening lead, I'm trying to envision the hand. The hand is looking very much like this. 5-5 of majors and dummy, and 3 or 4 hearts with declarer, and maybe maximum a doubleton spade. What is declarer gonna try to do? Gonna try to rough spades in the short hand. So don't lead ace king queen of spades just because you have ace king queen of spades. That's just gonna set up a tempo for a declarer, and that's exactly the tempo that the declarer wants. Let's say you lead a low heart here, and declarer, as we hoped, is not gonna dare to make a deep heart finesse. But declarer is gonna try to make some roughs in the short spade hand. See what happens here. Now you can play back the queen, because you don't want to risk what's gonna happen. Declarer is already realizing that if we just continue playing trumps, he will not have the time to rough the spades in short hand. So if you play the low heart there, he's just gonna take the 10 of hearts, because it can't cost. But here he's still gonna try to set up the spades. But now also we can draw the trump, and also there's no way for declarer to reach the king of clubs, or even play a diamond towards the king. We drew the trumps. We can also end play declarer in hand, and we can score ace queen of diamonds, because we just drew the trumps, didn't let declarer to get to the hand, and no chance. But it really requires it's a very dairy lead to lead a low heart in this situation. But that's because we were listening so much to the bidding. I think it was a cute one, but maybe this will also help you to try to envision the hand before you make your opening lead. Try to envision what is declarer wanna try to do. I got a quick question about board 15, what to open. So I will just put it up quickly and ask what would be my opening bid. South would pass it. I would open 3 spades on this board, not 4. The hand is not strong enough. Yes, it's green versus red, but it's not strong enough, and I don't want to be the one who decides the fate of the board. I'm definitely getting old, Sam. I just had my birthday a week ago. Okay, I think this is what I had for you all tonight, but I will still be here for a minute or two, and if there are any questions, I will answer them. But thank you very much. I did my best and I had a good time. It was a pleasure to do this with all of you.